Alright, everyone, welcome back. So, take two. I don't know what the hell happened in take one. You guys didn't see that. But anyways, the Edmonton Oilers have clinched the playoff spot. That's the next team we got to talk about. The Oilers, last season, I didn't think this team would make it past the second round. However, this team has proved me wrong. And last year, they made it to the Western Conference Finals. And although they got swept by Colorado, they looked freaking good. And I am very excited to see what the Oilers are going to do in this year's playoffs, and I think they could very well go all the way. So anyways, let's take a look at the Oilers' record with 79 games played, the time that they clinched 47, 23, and 9 for 103 points. They have scored 312 goals and have led in 256, and they are 7th in the NHL. They have a 22, 12, and 6 record at home, and a 25, 11, and 3 record on the road. So, yet again, the Oilers having another good season. Lately, though, they have looked insane. I believe since the start of March, they are 16, 2, and 1. That is unreal. 3 losses over the course of a month is almost unheard of in this day and age of the NHL. And the Oilers have done it. They have done a very good job. And solely, many people would argue that, it's Connor McDavid. It's just Connor McDavid. This year, though, I don't think so. McDavid this season, though, is having an insane, historic year. 79 games played, 64 goals, 86 assists for 150 points. Some of those stats are unheard of. 60 goals. We saw Austin Matthews do it, but before that, we haven't seen many do it. Pastrnak, too. Big shout out to him. But, yeah, 150 points. Only 5 other players have done that. That's a short list. That is a historically short list. And the fact that McDavid did it in this era where it looks like goal scoring is up again, I am very hyped to see, could he reach 160 points? Could he reach 200? 200, I don't think would happen, but I didn't think he'd reach 150. So, honestly, anything's really possible in this day and age. Goalies don't look as good anymore. There's been a lot of bad goalies this season that have not looked so good. So, yeah, I'm really wondering if he could reach 200 points next season. But 150 points for McDavid, unreal season. But someone else who's having a pretty good season is Leon Draisaitl. 77 games played, 51 goals, 72 assists for 123 points. You look at those two markers, 64 goals for McDavid, 51 goals for Draisaitl. That's almost 120 goals. The Oilers have scored 312 total. So, you look at that, that's about a third of their goals that have been scored by just their top 2 goal scorers. And then you add Ryan Nugent-Hopkins in there too. That's almost half your goals, which is crazy. 76 games played, 36 goals, 64 assists for 100 points. These 3 players are the first players since I believe the Pittsburgh Penguins in the early 90s to have 3 100-point goals with 100-point scorers. That's crazy. That's a crazy stat. That's unheard of. And I know there's always this argument with Nugent-Hopkins. Oh, he's a power play merchant. Oh, he's overrated, this and that. I get it. But realistically, though, you put anybody on the power play, the top 3 power play leaders are McDavid, Draisaitl, and Nugent-Hopkins. Arguably the 3 or 2, I don't know about Nugent-Hopkins, but arguably the 2 best players in the NHL. So, realistically, when you put those guys in the power play, of course they're going to be really good, and they're going to score on the power play consistently almost every time. So, realistically, it doesn't surprise me that they're really good on the power play. Wouldn't anybody who's really good be good on the power play? I don't know. But yeah, those guys have looked really solid this season, and the power play stuff shouldn't really discredit any of that. And then as well as that, too, Nugent-Hopkins has been very solid defensively as well. I've liked him as a defensive player. So that definitely plays a role. Next up, then, you have Zach Hyman. Hyman this season, 76 games played, 35 goals, 46 assists for 81 points. So he's almost there. He's about 20 points shy of the 100 points, which would be crazy if you had 4 100-point scorers. You were going back to, the Oilers then. But, yeah, Hyman. I think his pretty solid season's being overshadowed by Nugent-Hopkins and, obviously, the McDavid and Draisaitl seasons they've had. But, yes, Hyman's had another really good season, too. Definitely, and he definitely deserves the recognition and the shout-out. Then, for the forwards, the defensemen have more points than the 5th leading scorer, but you take a gigantic dip. You take, a 60-point dip to the next goal scorer in the offensive, and that's Evander Kane. If Kane was fully healthy, imagine what this team would be then. I mean, Kane is healthy now, but like, imagine how good this team would be if Kane was healthy too. Evander Kane this season, 38 games played, 15 goals, 12 assists for 27 points. So 81 points for Hyman, 27 points for Kane. There's some defensemen in there that are kind of like, that are kind of in between that. But yeah, that's a big gap. But it doesn't surprise me though, mainly because Kane's been hurt. But you would think there'd be other forwards that have been playing solid, but there hasn't, which is kind of weird to me. But yeah, anyways. Looking at their defensemen, you got Darnell Nurse, 79 games played, 12 goals, 31 assists for 43 points. I think Nurse gets not enough credit. Although, yes, his contract isn't very good, and that's kind of the woes with Ken Holland, but he still is a solid defenseman. Not like a top-winning, Norris-winning defenseman, but he still is a solid defenseman, and I'll hold that till I die. Then you got Evan Bouchard, 79 games played, 6 goals, 30 assists for 36 points. He has drastically improved. He's been a very good defenseman since he was drafted in 2018. I really like him, mainly because he has the same name as me, so, I mean, Evan Dickinson, Evan Bouchard kind of links up. Then he got Brett Kulak, who came from Montreal last season, has stayed with the team. I really like Brett Kulak. I've liked Brett Kulak for many years. 79 games played, 3 goals, 17 assists for 20 points. He's not the offensive type guy, but he's a really solid defensive scorer or defensive defenseman. And you need players like that on a team like Edmonton, who's been heavily criticized for their defense for ages now. So, yeah, and then your final defender that I have here is Cody Ceci with 1 goal, 13 assists for 14 points. So you look at the other players that are on this roster. We'll start off with their deadline acquisitions. You got Matthias Ekholm as the main acquisition there. He's been very good. He's come in and he's fit very well, as a lot of defensemen would, and a lot of players would too. You put any player on the Oilers, they're going to score a lot of points, especially when you got guys like McDavid and Draisaitl on the roster, of course. Ekholm this season, 18 games played, 3 goals, 8 assists for 11 points. Once again, he's having a pretty solid stint here with Edmonton. I would love to keep him around with the Oilers, and that's kind of why I really like this team's odds heading into the Stanley Cup. Or heading into the playoffs, and that's mainly because just their defense looks better, and that was the biggest thing with me that I've been thinking over the course of the past couple of years. You look back in previous season previews and previous Oilers-related videos, the biggest thing that I brought up in all those videos is defense, and I feel like the Oilers have fixed that 100% now, and I'm very happy with it. Then you got rookies. There's 2 rookies I have here. You got Dylan Holloway, 51 games played, 3 goals, 6 assists, 9 points. Both these players haven't been too good. You got Philip Broberg then up next, 44 games played, 0 goals, 7 assists, 7 points. Obviously, these players have both played over half the season. So for a lot of players, it takes a while for them to get adjusted to the NHL level. And it has taken a toll on these guys. And of course, being on a deep team, I'm going to call them deep. The deep team like the Edmonton Oilers, I know people will disagree with that. But you're not going to get a lot of top 6 minutes. You're not going to get a lot of, power play time. So, of course, that definitely plays a role. But I do like how these guys, you want to get these guys into the lineup. You want to get them adjusted. And I do like how the Edmonton Oilers have handled this overall. As for goaltending's obviously been a big thing that's been talked about in Edmonton time and again. You got Stuart Skinner, 47 games played, 26, 14, and 5 with a 2.84 goals against average and a .911 save percentage. I would imagine he is the starting goaltender heading into the playoffs as the rookie, and he could get the Calder very well. He's fighting now with Logan Thompson and Matty Beniers, of course. So yeah, the Calder race is very interesting as well, and I can't wait to make a video on that on the channel. But I've been just so swamped with the Clinched videos that I just got to get all these out, and then I can start working on those. Then you got Jack Campbell, who has not been very good. I will admit that, and that 5x5 deal, hopefully he'll be better in some of these years, but Campbell this season has been underwhelming. 36 games played, 21, 9, and 4, a 3.41 goals against average, and a .888 save percentage. So, underwhelming stats there when you're looking at a guy who, with Toronto, played really well, and other teams played well as well. So, yeah, I don't like it for Edmonton, but we'll see. They got 4 more years to fix them. So, yeah, have fun. As it goes for the injuries, they're pretty much the same. You got Oscar Klefblom. He's been out since 2021. You got Mike Smith, who's been out since last year. You got Ryan Murray as well. So no big players, no overwhelming big players that are hurt there. Klefblom, it hurts to miss him. I've said this in so many videos. It hurts to miss Klefblom since 2021. He was one of the solid defenders on that Oilers blue line, but I feel like they have gotten enough assets and enough players since to really help improve that blue line, and I do like the Oilers blue line now. Mike Smith, it sucks, but you got 2 compatible goalies in Skinner now and Campbell, and then Ryan Murray, not a huge deal. As it goes for their playoff opponent, unless if they somehow get first in the division, which I believe at the time recording right now, Vegas can clinch that. So that first round matchup will be basically confirmed once Vegas clinches. But they likely will be playing the Los Angeles Kings unless they somehow beat Vegas to that first place spot. They likely will be playing the Los Angeles Kings in the first round of the playoffs yet again. And ironically, that's the next team we got to do in our clinch videos. And I do think that will be a very fun series. Even though I do think the Oilers will win it again, I think it will be close yet again. So anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you all for watching. Let me know what you guys think about the Oilers and how far they will go. Next up, we got the Kings. Then we move into the Central teams. Then we got the Kraken. Then we got the teams that are still yet to clinch. So we're about halfway through these videos. And we got to make more before Friday. So yeah, it's going to be fun. Anyways, thank you all for watching. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Adios.